the last thing I want to do on the first episode of whatever this is do a section called Sean Recommends, where I'm just going to talk about something that I don't really want to review, but I would recommend that you see or check out, and that's going to be a documentary called Turtle Power. I'd never heard of it, didn't know anything about it. Literally about 3 hours ago, I was just scrolling through looking for something to watch, and I came across this documentary on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles called Turtle Power. Didn't know if it was going to be terrible, interesting, or what, and so I just watched it and then decided I'd talk about it now. So basically, this is a documentary on where the Ninja Turtles came from, and it starts by interviewing the two guys that created the Ninja Turtles and kind of tracks it through the early 90s about is when it really ends, the documentary, and it talks about the impact over the last 20, 25 years. But really, it's about that first 10 years of how did it go from this black and white independent comic book to the weird mainstream bizarre thing where they were had Ninja Turtles on tour doing a music show back in the early 90s, which I remember from my childhood. I never got to go see it. I never got the video cassette of it or anything like that, but I remember the commercials for it from my childhood. And so it's really a documentary talking to almost every important person along the way. So you talk to the first creators of it. Then you talk to the marketing guy that got them connected with Playmate to create the Playmate toys, which led to the creation of the TV show, the first cartoon. And they talk about the origins of that, and they talk to the voices. You see all four voices of the Ninja Turtles, and then you see Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, who's the voice of Shredder. He's there too, and they all get together and have a little reunion. And then they talk to the creators of the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie from 1990, which came out when I was 9 years old, so I was the perfect age for it once again. And it's just a really interesting documentary about the history of this show that I watched as a kid. The toys, I had that first generation of toys because I was the perfect age to have them. I saw that first movie in the theater the weekend it came out. I saw Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, the weekend it came out for a birthday party. And then I also saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 and hated it like everybody else. But I played the video games they're going to talk about in this documentary. I'm the perfect age for this documentary. So if you love the history of this stuff, especially the early years of Ninja Turtles, and you want to know how that all came to be, this is a really interesting documentary. It's not told in the style of there's a guy walking around, trying to get to the bottom of something. It's not really funny. It's not meant to be entertaining on this extra level or anything. It's just a good behind-the-scenes documentary of how this thing came to be. And I found it very interesting. I've read that they're making a sequel to it that I assume would pick up in 1993 when this one ends and track all the way to the present. Don't know, but if you're interested in this stuff, I highly recommend you check it out. It's very interesting. It keeps you engaged. It's fast-moving enough that it doesn't stick on any segment too long. So if you really want to know about the origins of the comic, it'll tell you about that, but it doesn't stick around so long that if you're obsessed with that, you'll be totally satisfied. But it will make you go, oh, I want to know more about that. And so then it moves on to the section of the toys coming around. It goes through each of it very nicely paced, so you get just enough time on each thing.